Hi everybody, it's Marianne from Sew Right. I'm talking about you doing a double fold bias binder. So you're attaching binding to your quilt or to maybe the edge of a bag. And so you'd have a chain stitch underneath and the straight stitch look on the top. I have it in red thread so it stands out. You could use contrasting thread, but maybe you want to match it. That's up to you. When you're doing the double fold bias binder, you are using one needle. And your machine has 3 needle positions. It doesn't matter which one you use. It's really up to you as far as the convenience of where the needle is and how you're feeding it and what's good for your eye viewing it. You're going to follow the instructions that come with your double fold bias binder. And here I have 2 separate bias binders. One is a 36 millimeter and one is a 28 millimeter. The 36 millimeter is a 1.5 inch binder, and the 28 millimeter is a 1 1/8 binder. I'm going to use the 36 millimeter. This is the packaging that comes with it. Normally it's like this, but I put it away in my bag and I fold it up so everything is nice and neat. All right, when we're going to attach this, I have chosen, I like to use the center needle position. So it would be needle number 2, not 1 or 3. That's for me. It doesn't necessarily, that means what you have to do. I'm going to attach my binder to the table. Put 2 screws in. And then you're going to adjust. This needle is needle number 2, which is this notch, and I'm going to have it going down the center of where my binding will be. So then I'm going to tighten up my screw. But before I do this, it's going to be easier to feed my strip of fabric in before I secure it completely. So I've turned it outward, and it's also good when you're using these kind of attachments to cut your strip on an angle at the beginning, and you're going to start to feed it through. When you are feeding it through, to get it moving along, again, you're going to use your tweezers because they're going to be able to get inside here, and you're going to be able to keep moving it through. And then I'm going to grab it there, and I'm going to pull this, and see, now there's my binding. It's folding all by itself. So now that I got that done, I'm going to raise my foot and I'm going to position it under here. And remember, the needle position that I'm using is the number 2. And I'm going to get my second screw in, and then I'm going to make sure everything is lined up just right. And because I can still, with these screws loose, I can still shift this. But I'm going to move it over to here and tighten up my screws. My strip, I want it nice and straight out. And you're going to see that everything is folded in on the edge. It's already starting to curl it. Then I'm going to place my fabric or my quilt piece in, and that I'm going to attach it to. You could have your batting inside here. I'm just going to fold the fabric in half. And you can make believe that there's batting in there, but you're going to scoot this in. Now your strip, your binding strip, you have to cut it longer than what you need because the needle is going to start in that edge, and then everything is going to start to pull in. So I'm just feeding this, the piece of the quilt or whatever you're doing the binding on, you're going to start feeding this in. My foot is down, and I'm going to start to stitch. And as I do, I've got to make sure that I hold my strip straight out. So as I go, I start feeding it in, and you just make sure that you hold your strip straight. And look at it's pulling in my main piece, and it's pulling in the binding. And right behind the foot, it looks like the plain straight stitch. And then underneath is my chain. So I could just continue. Just make sure that you keep your strip here straight, because if you're not paying attention, it'll start to curl down and then you're going to get a problem. Just keep it nice and straight. And I'm keeping that, this is also feeding in nicely here. Run it off. Again, use your tweezers, because now that this is short, maybe I need that little bit of extra fabric. Just keep going there so that it stays as straight as it can be. And you're going to feed that through. Run that off. Cut my piece. And over there, my binding is folded in. Double fold. And there's my straight stitch, which is the top, and there is my chain underneath. So, you can do this on the edge of a bag. You could do this in your quilt. When you're doing a quilt, turning corners could be challenging, so you could run it off one end and then start it again on the other corners, but it'll make your binding a lot faster. You could do it on the edge of pockets, things like that. So I hope you enjoyed today's class, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.